or we could try it for a while and then check and see if it's working well.
It looks good when I propped it.
Okay. So should I turn around like this and face you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's your full name?
Should I look at the camera and talk, or at you?
Look at me. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Well, my name is Udayan Roy. Udayan is the first name, Udayan. Roy, last name, Roy.
Okay. And what is your date of birth?
October 1, 1962.
Okay. And birthplace?
Birthplace is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Age?
Age is 53. Yeah.
And what do you teach at LIU?
At LIU, I've been teaching since 1990, the fall of 1990. It's more than 25 years now. And I teach economics. And in economics, I've taught virtually every course we offer. I've taught introductory macroeconomics, introductory microeconomics, elective microeconomics, elective macroeconomics. I've taught statistics. I've taught international economics, behavioral economics, so a whole history of economic thought I've taught. So I've taught over the 25 years, I've taught many courses, but all in economics.
Okay, and what about this year?
This year, in the fall, I taught Introduction to Microeconomics, 2 sections of it, and I taught International Economics and Behavioral Economics. Behavioral economics is this combination of economics and psychology, a new subject. So that was in the fall semester. And this semester I'm teaching Introduction to Macroeconomics and upper level macroeconomics, 2 sections of it.
Okay.
So macroeconomics, both introductory and upper level.
Okay, so you've been teaching at LIU for 25 years?
Oh yes, since 1990. So this is my first job and the only job I've ever had in my whole life. So I came here even before I had finished my PhD. So I started this job in 1990 and I finished my PhD in 1991.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
So how do you use math in your profession?
Yeah, math is absolutely indispensable in my profession for several reasons. First of all, mathematics is the language that everybody in economics, when they are publishing research, they use to express their ideas. So if I don't know mathematics, I wouldn't be able to follow the research that other people are doing because they are expressing their ideas in mathematics. So I need to know mathematics to just follow their logic, okay, what they're saying. Now the question is, why do we use mathematics in our research to express our ideas? Well, it wasn't always like that. If you look at economic writing, in the 18th century or the 19th century, you wouldn't see as much math as nowadays. At that time, writers such as Adam Smith or Thomas Malthus or Karl Marx, they expressed their ideas in just plain language. Okay? But the problem with that was that it wasn't precise enough. The language wasn't precise enough. So even today, in 2016, economists are still arguing about what did Adam Smith really mean when he said such and such things? Or what did Karl Marx really mean when he wrote such and such? Because it's in English and it can be interpreted in many different ways. So to avoid that kind of confusion, we express our ideas in mathematics because mathematics is so precise. You have to very precisely set out what your assumptions are, and then you have to use mathematical logic to derive conclusions from your assumptions. And every step is a piece of mathematics. So first of all, it's very, very precise. 100 years later, if they read today's mathematically written research, they would know exactly what it means. There would be no confusion anymore. That's number one. Number two is, it's easy to check whether the logic is right or wrong. You can just go step by step. From each step, you can check, and the rules of mathematics are very unambiguous. So you can check whether you did the math right or not. So it's easy for one person to check the logic of the other person if it is written in mathematics. If you write it in plain English, it's hard to
Different various
check.
answers.
So that is one main reason why we use mathematics, to avoid confusion and to make the logic easy to check. Okay. Second, another thing is we use mathematics in testing various predictions of various theories. Okay, so there may be different theories about the same phenomenon, but they are different, so they make different predictions, right? Now, how do you know? How do you find out which prediction is correct, which prediction is incorrect? Well, you look at the data, right? But the problem is with the data that often the data is a sample, is obtained from a sample. Now, this what sample you will get depends a little bit on luck. So there are, when you take data which is a sample, there are right ways and wrong ways of drawing conclusions from the data. And the distinction between the correct method of drawing conclusions from the data and the incorrect methods of drawing conclusions from the data is coming from mathematics, the mathematics of probability theory and statistics. So in the mathematics of probability theory and statistics, they basically give you the rules by which you should look at the data. Okay, you've taken the data. Now here, the data is a chance thing, it's random. So you have to be careful about drawing too much meaning from the data because it could be accidental. So the rules of drawing conclusions from the data in the right way or the wrong way are, you have to use mathematics to understand those rules. And the methods, the step-by-step methods of taking the data and drawing lessons from the data is from the mathematics of probability theory. So that's another way we use mathematics. Lastly, in my experience, in some cases, mathematics gave me intuition about economics that I never had. Okay, so the thing is, suppose you are, in one case, I was trying to analyze a argument, a theory about foreign aid. So if America gives foreign aid to other countries, what will affect and what will be the effects and so on and so forth. Now, as I was doing the math, I had described imaginary worlds in mathematics, and then in that imaginary world, I added foreign aid to see what the mathematics tells me about the results of aid. Okay, but then I got, when I was doing the math, I got some results about the consequence of aid that surprised me. Okay, I did not earlier suspect that particular effect of foreign aid. Okay, but the math said that should be a consequence of foreign aid. And then when I thought about it, I realized, aha, they're right. Foreign aid should have this particular effect. So in some cases, using mathematics, earlier I told you that we use mathematics in our work to avoid confusion, so that everything is clear and unambiguous. The second reason is sometimes mathematics gives you ideas that you never had before you started doing the math. It's fantastic. Okay. So those are the three reasons that come to mind: clarity, avoiding confusion, getting new ideas and intuitions from the math, and lastly, using mathematical statistics and probability theory to figure out what is the legitimate lesson that can be extracted from limited data and what are wrong lessons to extract from limited data. Okay, so that's basically what I can say.
Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Okay, hope you enjoy the course. Okay.